Hello, hello, guys. Welcome. I'm super excited for today's guest. So, welcome to Live with Jacqueline Valdez. Today, we are going to be discussing autism and a father's point of view, also his courageous son, and his wonderful show. I'm super excited and honored to have Jamiel Owens here. So, please welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello. What's going on, everybody? Blessings. What's good?
Yes. So, how's your day been going?
It's hectic. Homework. I'm in school, so I'm doing homework. I'm working. I'm doing homework. I'm doing so many different things, but it's better to be doing something positive rather than me doing nothing at all or doing something negative. So it's a blessing.
Yes, amen. I love that. And I love how during this challenging, difficult time, you're really, pushing yourself to keep doing so much stuff.
Of course. It comes down to just basically accountability. I mean, who you are as a man. How are you going to be remembered? Things like that. What are you trying to establish in life? And what do you want others to take hold from that? So I got to keep pushing regardless.
I love that. How do you stay so positive?
Because I've been through a lot of bad situations throughout my life. You would not believe if I sat down, told you my story, you would not believe of the transformation of where I'm at right now. So in the midst of that and all the blessings and the teachings and everything that I've learned, I've made a promise. And it sounds kind of cliche because you kind of like, okay, how can you make promises to God? But you make a promise, you make an oath, you make a promise to follow him and to understand or try to understand his teachings and try to do the best that you can in life,
I love that. And it's such a positive thing to let people know to overcome these struggles, to push through all of these hardships, and something really beautiful can come out of really difficult, challenging times and builds your character and helps you to inspire others.
Definitely. It's nothing but light at the end of the tunnel. It's just how you're looking at it. People want to see this big array of light, this whole celebration of a conclusion of pain and suffering, but sometimes the pain and suffering is the actual light. Sometimes it's something to get you out of a situation that you were in previous that was even more dark and more twisted. So you got to kind of look at it from both ways.
I love that so much. Yeah, because it is a really challenging time. And a lot of people get so focused on the darkness that they think they're never going to see the light and get out of it, and how to not be living in the past, not to be living in the trauma.
Exactly.
Wow. So tell me about your journey. Tell me about how you got to where you're at.
First and foremost is God. My belief. I'm a Christian. Just trying to follow a man that's perfect, that was on this planet, that was perfect. So that's for first and foremost. The second part of it is, one of the reasons why I started the Ausome show is my son Shayne. I always say that he is basically the gift from God. He is God himself in my life, because the understanding of my son allowed me to be compassionate, have empathy, have emotion, which we are, as men, we are destined to stray away from in society because that is deemed as weak. So my growth, those two factors, with God being the first, my son being the second, has allowed me to grow as a man tremendously.
Wow. Yeah. And like you said, you hit a really good point. And I've been actually having some interviews with other men where finding emotion, accepting that emotion, accepting, it's shameful and it's not something that is really accepted in society, which is ridiculous.
Exactly. It is. Looking back, I was angry for no reason when I was younger. And, I had things in my life that, okay, you could sit there and sit back from a third person perspective and say, oh, okay, you have a reason to be angry, but not really. You really never have a reason to be angry, and especially to take it out on other people. And one thing I have to say that I learned throughout my life, and I hope there is a man that's listening to this, is that the abuse that you endure from life, you do not, or you are not supposed to take it out on women. That means using women for your own advantage, using other people for your own advantage. You're not supposed to do that. That's a you problem. That means that you need to fix it. You need to find a resolve before you enter into someone's life, or, be in a relationship with somebody, whether it be relationship, emotional relationship, or whether it be a friendship. You have to do these things. It's very, very important.
What step would you give someone to start working through that and to start processing and learn to forgive themselves for things that they made mistakes in the past?
Spiritual grounding. I'm not here to convert anybody. Whatever, religion you're looking to pursue it. It always start at the foundation. If you go around your city, I'm sure you see construction going up, and you look at the premise of this building. It may be a spectacular building as the artist drew it out, but it always starts with the foundation. And the
Yeah.
foundation is a religious foundation because it gives you accountability on what you need to be doing in this life.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I love it. And I love that you found your way through. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You have
Oh
to
no.
learn patience and
Mhm.
learn to love yourself.
Exactly. That's the first thing, is just really admitting your wrongs, understanding your wrongs, and searching for the right in your wrongs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not saying, okay, well, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, well, it is what it is. No, I did this. How many people did it affect? Can I turn it around? Can I apologize? And how can I make sure that I never do this again? That's a self checklist.
I love it. I love it. So make yourself checklists, everybody.
Yes, definitely.
I love it so much. So, what is it like being a father, having an autistic kid? Because I
Uh,
know it's different, I'm assuming, than
it
a
is.
mother.
It
Okay.
is. I have to say the battle that I had with first understanding the diagnosis of my son was the fact of my ego. It was a me problem. Once again, I was always worried about my feelings. How am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? These things when I heard the diagnosis versus, hey, what's going on with my son? How can I provide better for him? How can I make sure I'm doing this to secure his future?
Right.
And secure his growth in the future.
Wow.
So it changed the thought and the reality for me, as in I removed myself of what the world thinks you should be doing in life, and I focus more solely on those things that are important. And our awesome children, I use the word awesome, obviously the awesome show, instead of autism. Our
Yeah.
awesome children are the gatekeepers to that. When you get in contact with a child that's on the spectrum, you have to enter into their world. It's never them coming into our world, is entering into their world. And I'm telling you, if you're not ready to receive love, if you're not ready to really be pushed to your limits as far as patience and compassion, then it's not for you. You're too weak for it. And these are the things that are going to come out in life that's going to make you stronger and shine brighter than anything.
Wow, I love it so much. And when did you find out that he was on the spectrum?
I found out, which is a median age for a lot of individuals, young children, for parents to find out, which
Okay.
is the age of 3, where he was exhibiting a lot of behavior that we call quote unquote different,
Okay.
lining up, called stimming, which is the rapid motion of eye movements or body back and forth to
Right.
gain some visual stimulation within their body and their brain. He
Wow.
was doing that. And, to my ignorance, before I knew anything about this, before I could even accept the possibility of my son being quote unquote not normal,
Right.
I threw things like, oh, he's possessed or something wrong with him, or those ignorant standpoints that many people in society still hold true today.
Right.
I had those standpoints, and at the age of 3, seeing that, me and his mother, at the time we were married, we made a decision to go see a physician at CHOP here in Philadelphia, and we were able to understand what is going on with our son. But it didn't stop there, though. Unfortunately, it did not stop there. But at least we had something on hard paper, something to go
Right.
by, a roadmap, as you can say.
Wow. And I'm sure experiencing that, like you said, you went through the ego, you went through, all the different emotions until finally you were like, okay, what do we do now to move
Hmm.
forward?
Hmm. It was more so, like I said, it was me. It was always me, and it was never about my son. It was never about my wife at the time, which is even more, horrendous when it comes down to statistics, as far as um I mean, let's be real, Black and brown community divorce rates are through the roof. Autism is prevalent within our community, but we're not talking about it, and it's affecting our family structure. So it's most importantly not to point fingers at people, but come together more, be
Yes.
that strength. And one of the main reasons for my show is to speak to the fathers. We have plenty of mothers out here. We have plenty of physicians who are women who are leading the forefront, and no disrespect to the mothers, because this is what they do. This is their motherly instinct. But fathers, you can't sit back and be quiet. You got to hit the ground running, just like the mothers are doing, in order to do that. And there's plenty of them out there. There are, but there's a lot of them that aren't. They're having a hard time with it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's very important to talk about these subjects and to talk about it. And like you said, there's a lot of men that are out there, but they either don't want to come forward, or they just don't want to be a part of it, or
Exactly.
kind of backed away and they're scared, or they just don't really know where to fit in and what to do.
Exactly. You're 100% right, and I think that's more of a hindrance as far as your growth as a man, to fully understand what's going on with your child, to want to place yourself once again in their world and take yourself out of this world. We always fear that we're missing something. Oh, I don't want to go to sleep too early because I'm gonna miss something, or I don't want to do this because I'm gonna miss something. I don't want to remove myself from social media for a break because I'm going to miss something. Well, you're not going to miss anything but life. That's what you're going to miss.
And do you feel like, being a Black man, that it's harder to show your emotions? I know I've done some interviews with some Black women, and they were saying it's very challenging for the Black community to really show their emotions because you always have to be so strong.
I think especially now, more so, we need more individuals, more men in the Black and brown communities to show emotion. And the reason behind that is because we have done so many years of oppression when it comes down to slavery, discrimination, and things like this. Now it's time to show the emotional effects of that, because there are people out there that just like, oh, they're just crying and complaining again about what they don't have. But these are scars, that emotional scars that can cause so many different traumas that we will never recover from if we don't have the chance to allow you to listen. And that's the thing. We all need to listen. Both sides need to sit down, listen, and have these conversations.
Yes, listen. Everyone needs to listen and have more compassion and empathy and really understand other viewpoints.
Exactly. It's 100% needed.
So as far as health issues, is there any tied to certain foods, dietary? Have you had to make any changes?
Oh, well, there definitely are changes when it comes to our children that are on the spectrum. Gluten-free is one of the biggest changes that you can actually involve your child and your families. Most importantly, your family, because it helps the entire family, whether you're on the spectrum or not. There are certain dyes out there. There's the red number 9 dye and red 40 dyes that are very, very hyperactive for a child on the spectrum. As soon as my son eats, let's say Rita's water ice with that red dye in it, he's immediately starts to change. It's almost like his brain is short circuiting, if I can use that example. So there's certain things, certain cereals. My son, he's actually very well with, eating vegetables, drinking water, lots of water. He may have juice here and there, very, very minimal soda. Yeah, he's actually doing good. And that goes back to the feeding program that was at CHOP also, because my son, when he was first diagnosed, was only eating 3 things, and that was French fries from McDonald's. And he could tell exactly which fries it was. If it wasn't McDonald's, he was smacking out our hands. That was one.
Cute.
French toast sticks from Murray's. He loved those. And milk. That was the only things that he was actually eating and drinking. So one of the most amazing things I had the ability to do, and once again, men, if you have time and this is needed for your child, do it. I was actually going with him, taking them to the feeding program. It was a month long, Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. We could not leave that hospital. And what we did was basically administer food similar to like a gift reward type of exchange going on. You take a bite,
Wow.
you get your favorite toy to play with for a certain minute, and that's how he will continue his whole meal.
Wow.
He now eats everything. It doesn't matter what it is. He eats more than me, which is amazing. And the one of the things that I remember is hearing my son scream to the top of my lungs, looking at a two-way mirror, and I couldn't help him. Why? Because I knew that this was going to be for his benefit. So I started to realize it was less about me. Oh, I got to console my child because I'm the man, I'm the father, and you're hurting my son. But it's more about him. I got to hear these cries because this is going to be that light, that promised land for my son and for my family.
I love that you said that and touched up on that. There is a mother that I do know that has a son, and she, every time hears him scream or cry, will give in. And it's not really as a positive as if she did not
Exactly.
give in to his needs and stuff like that, his demands. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and I think a lot of parents are scared to do that. They're scared to step back and, realize, okay, there's a bigger picture here. This is more about what's the benefit for them.
We what we fear is rejection.
Yeah.
We've already been rejected ourselves. Everybody's been rejected in life. We see our children as being special, being different than what life is. And we know that the world is going to reject. Therefore, the world rejects anything they do not understand. So we tend to try to guard them from every little thing in life that is thrown at them.
Yeah.
And we can't do that.
Yeah.
We have to equip our children with the same aspects of life in a different language, but the same aspects of life as there is a child who is non-typical, non-neurotypical. We have to. We have to do this. It's very, very important.
Yeah, I love that you said that. And I love that you suggested some amazing dietary tips. Gluten-free, I have some autoimmune issues, and I am pushing to go more gluten-free just because I'm learning so much about, nutrition, and that inflames the system and stuff. So it's definitely easier to have your family, your friends, your support system not sitting there gorging, on gluten in front of you.
Definitely. I mean, gluten, dairy-free, anything you could possibly do, to reverse the stigma of what the world has basically put in. Oh, make sure you get your dairy, make sure you eat this. And there's been studies that's come out that shows that it's not healthy. Now, you have to remember also that you can't go stone cold. Your body will go through some radical changes, but reduce the amount of junk food, sugars, dyes, things of that nature that can harm you, but most importantly, your awesome child. So that's another thing to just keep in mind. And like I said, we're in the health craze now. Everybody wants to be healthy. So why not start this process with your child?
Yes, I love that. Yes. So much great advice. So many great tips too. Do you guys do also any holistic approaches to it?
I actually shout out to Potential Health CBD. They were actually one of my sponsors for the Awesome Show. Dr. Nunez, great woman. She knows exactly what she's talking about. She's been providing for awesome children like my son for years now. She came out with CBD, basically the oils. Also, she has inhaler spray. And at first, just like a lot of parents, I'm like, okay, you're not giving my child drugs. It's not going to happen. That's the worst thing you could advance for a parent whose child has, autism or Asperger's or ADHD. It's the worst thing. We don't want it.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I tried it first for myself. And what I did notice is that it did relax me. Instead of, a lot of older adults like to have a nightcap before they go to sleep. Well, this does the same effect without drinking alcohol, and it's all natural and it's relaxed. So it's removed from that chemical, which is basically found in marijuana, but it has the same properties. So it gives you that relaxed state. So now my whole family uses it, and it's amazing. So that's one thing I actually, suggest. And the second thing, unequivocally, love. without a shadow of a doubt, just quality time and love, and really trying to understand a dialogue with your child. You know, my son loves trains, so we sit down and we chop it up and we talk about trains all the time. Whenever we have a train that runs outside my house, whenever that train goes by, if I'm around, I'll run upstairs and we'll look out the window together at the train, and he'll talk to me about it. And this is the way that I can connect with my child so he can understand that, hey, my dad has interest in the things that I like. He thinks that I'm awesome and I'm special, which I do.
I love that. And I love that you really, emphasize the being awesome and being special, because that should be emphasized. It
Of
should
course.
be not different, not weird. Society has put so many labels on just unique people that it's not okay to be unique. And
Exactly.
it's the what is in you that shines, and that's beautiful, and that you're going into his world and having that moment of connection.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, once again, we're looking at so many different things. Just do it. Be you, be different. You know, things that slogans that are out here in the world that we push. But when we really meet individuals who are on the spectrum who just embody that naturally, we shun them off. Why? Because we don't regulate it. And that's the problem. You don't regulate that because you didn't make that. You know who made that? God made that. He made everybody special and unique in their own way. He made these children special and unique. These are the angels walking among this earth. If you meet any child that are on the spectrum, they greet you with the most passionate hug, you know, a smile every single time. They are there with you every single day. And it's amazing. Isn't this what we're looking for? We're
Yeah.
looking for this day in and day out in partners and friendships and everything else. And we have it in these children that are on the spectrum. We need to wake up, people. We definitely do need to wake up.
I love that. Yeah, we do need to wake up. We need to just appreciate people for who they are
Mhm.
and love. The world needs lots of love right now. So everyone,
Exactly.
go love everyone and love your kids.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. And I love that you're sharing so much love and so much wisdom. And how did you start this show? So you created your show. When did that happen? And how did you decide to do this?
So I don't know if you can see me. So this is the shirt that I came out with. I'm not autistic. I am awesome.
I
So
love it.
this was a shirt that I made. I made the slogan and everything.
Wow.
I got, when from the point where Shayne was diagnosed to 2016, I wasn't there. I was an absent father. I was dealing with my own emotions. I was trying to go out to the clubs and party and drink and do things with other women just to try to ease the pain on things that was not associated with the autism, but then that was just put on top. So I wasn't a man. I was a boy. I was a boy living in a man's situation. Therefore, unfortunately, it ended in divorce.
Mm.
As time went on, I quickly realized that my son was the only thing that was here, regardless, that only saw me for my purity. When I was down at my luck, which I had so many things taken away from me, girlfriends, people, places, so many things taken away from me, it was God who was there when I was on my knees crying, asking for forgiveness, and it was my son smiling at me. And
Oh,
that's when I knew that I had to go hard and I had to do something for him. So I started to speak out because I was tired of not speaking out about my son. I did the Autism Speaks with this campaign slogan. I raised over $2,500 by myself as a single father using wristbands with the help of a lot of different friends. And then from that point, I said, I need to continue on. So that's when I started the Ausome Show, which was online radio. And I started it while I was living in Philadelphia. And I had guests on. I had fathers. I had rappers, Christian rappers on. I had so many mothers on, first time speaking about their child because they felt so open. And
wow.
I guess you could pretty much say that my channel is for the blue collar workers, that basic person that just want to get the courage enough to say, you know what, enough is enough, and I want to speak out because I've been there. So I just continued on with it and grow with it. And I'm a co-host also too for the Ben and Jay show with my host, my brother Ben Hartraff, who's a 22-year-old autistic himself. And we became so close. He's became close with my son. And now we have a show which we do also. So now I'm on two different platforms sharing about the one thing that I love, my son, autism, Ben, autism, everybody who's on the spectrum, that's who I cater to.
Wow, that's an incredible story. And it's very beautiful to hear, how you went through so much and it was really dark and it was alone and were kind of pushing everything to the side and
Mhm.
it wasn't going to go away. And then you had the realization and now it's like everything's manifesting for you. You're a vessel to speak out for God and
Exactly.
to shine light.
Exactly. Exactly. Love is universal. It's the most priceless economy here on earth, and we don't even realize it. We really don't realize it. It's something that is instilled in us, and we have these children to remind us every single day that love is still here and is available for sale. You could buy it. You could go online, buy it. 000. Shipping is free. You could buy it. You know, it is very important for men to understand. Men, I understand you wish you could hit that reset button. There was a time where I sat there and said, I don't want my son. There was a time that I actually said that. But in the midst of me saying that, it made me realize that, hey, I don't want my son, but do I really want the man that I was at that time? And the answer is that I didn't.
Yeah.
So I became a new man because I wanted my son and I wanted to be like him. And who is he reminding me of? God. So therefore, I was chasing God in the image of his own likeness, which was my son, which is only me. Where it's all connected. When you start piecing the puzzles together, you start to realize what's your real purpose here on earth. And this is a part of my purpose. This is what I do. I can tell you everything that I do in life. You'll sit there and be like, okay, well, why do you have the time? I have the time because this is what I live.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. You're such an inspiration and
Thank
your
you.
story is just so touching. I know
Thank you.
a couple men right now that have to listen to your story that I'm going to send our interview to because
I
they were
hope so. I hope so.
inspired because they're in a dark place right now.
Hey, listen, I tell everybody, on my IG platform, on my Facebook, you can send me a message. I'll send you my phone number and we can chop it up and we can build that relationship because I cannot see another man or even another mother in the position where I was at. I was there and I came out of it. So it is my duty as a person, as a man, as a leader, as a community leader, as someone who puts myself out there to make sure that no one else falls just like I did.
Yeah, and I think it's so amazing that you use your platform to help others and to share knowledge and to be so accessible. And I think that that's why, people love you so much and why your purpose is just so driven. It seems like you've been doing this forever. You have an
Yes.
incredible voice, charisma. Yeah.
I try to love on everybody, even on the days when you don't really want to, you still got to do it. You don't know who else have it, harder than you,
That's true. And
that's
you
the
never know who you're going to inspire on that day
exactly,
that you're
exactly.
thinking, oh, I can't get through. Do you have moments where it's really hard and difficult as far as patience and
Oh
trying
yeah.
to channel your calmness?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's plenty of days. It's plenty of days. I feel that way, but I have to always remember is that there's someone out there that's doing worse than you. There's always someone out there that's doing worse than you. And then once again, if I die tomorrow, what am I leaving this earth if I'm not leaving anything like that? What am I doing? What am I doing here?
Yeah,
So I remind myself with that every single day.
I love that. And that's a good thing. That's a really good tip is just every day, every morning to remind yourself, what are you doing? What's your purpose? And would you be happy if you left?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm doing that. I'm writing that.
There you go. There you go. Write it out every morning. Drink that cup of coffee. Have that moment with God. Have that moment by yourself. Positive. In fact, buy a cup of coffee for somebody today. Say hello. Make sure you introduce yourself. It's small things that you can actually do.
Yes, I love that so much. And I love that you have two platforms now that you're talking and discussing about the subject that you love so much and how
Mhm.
that's, unfolding for you. What
Mhm.
other projects do you have coming up?
Oh man, well, me personally, I just became a firefighter, so I'm actually a firefighter here in Pennsylvania.
Congrats.
Also, too, I am now in school for EMT, so I'm now studying for that. I am a author, so you could go on Google and you can spell out my name, and you'll find at least four. And I have one article that I'm about to put out again, so that's 5 articles total that I have written, from my perspective. Uh, mm.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I got a lot of things going on right now. Also, too, me and my partner, my partner in crime, Ben Hartraff, we just got accepted to a national conference, Milestones National Conference 2021. We will be guest speakers speaking about autism and law enforcement, which I am a previous member of law enforcement, and we do actually speak to police officers
Nice.
now. So we're actually doing the training now. So we're very excited to be included in that to give the perspective. And I've done, a couple of different speaking engagements, looking for more, but I've done one recently with Drexel University here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as a guest speaker with Dr. Robert Nassif and all those other fellows, very influential men. Just trying to make a change, people always are looking towards retirement so they can sit still. And I'm trying to run towards retirement and run past retirement until I can't run no more. So that's the motive.
I love it. It's like a domino effect, one person at a time and then one event at a time and just making a difference.
Exactly. Doing shows like yours, speaking out about it, so people would be inclined to sit there and be like, hey, you know what? This guy looks exactly like me, and he's open enough to speak about autism, or just open, period. Let me see what he's about. And if they go on my page, I speak about all type of topics.
Nice.
Primarily autism, but things that are related to men to help to grow them. Also too, for women to help their husbands or their boyfriends. So it's a show for everybody, but it's really about growth. It's really about growth and looking at different things.
Right. We'll have to have another discussion sometime and dig in deeper
Definitely.
to another man's perspective.
Definitely. That's no problem. We could definitely do that. We'll definitely chop that up.
I love it. So many hats. Yeah. How do you manage to stay so centered, and organized, doing all these different roles?
I have a great support system with my family. And once again, I just look about the accountability of God. I look in the Bible and he speaks of different things. People know the story about, Jacob, Job, Paul, these people who were like the lowest of the lowest of humanity out here, murderers, rapists, and how God used them and held them accountable for their actions. So I sit there and I look at, where I could have been, and I look at where I'm at now, and I sit there and say, you got to keep going. So I'm just like they say, when you go to work every day, you can hate your job, you can hate what you do, that's not what you do, but you're supposed to work that job like you're working for God. And that's what I try to do every day, is just be the best person I could possibly be for God. And I know I'm gonna fall short, but just keep at it. Get down, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, keep on striving for it. So
Yes,
that's
I
what's been
love
helping me.
keep going. And I love having the mind perspective of saying, I get to do this today, not I
Yep.
have to do this today.
Yep. Exactly. Because so many people would trade it with you at a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's very true. I love it so much. Was there anyone that you want to do special shout out to?
Um, Everybody. Shout out to everybody. I don't want to pinpoint too many people. Shout out to everybody. 2020, 2021, crazy time. We're going through parallel times. It's spoken, it has been predicted. Once again, in the Bible, it's here. But most importantly, everybody, how's your mental health? Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're not falling victim to what is what or who is who out here in the world. Know your self-worth. Know that you're here for a purpose. Know that your positive impact on this world is going to leave a mark in history bigger than anything else that you could possibly do. So I just want to shout out everybody. You are loved. You are loved by me. You are loved by God. And just continue to push, continue to be there. Be that rock for someone, or be that rock for yourself or your children. Be that rock.
I love that. Be that rock. How's your son doing?
Oh man, he's amazing. Straight A's and B's, honor roll. I don't know how many years in a row, but honor roll. Very, very happy, excited. His birthday is coming up on March 29th. So I'll officially have a teenager. So we're trying to get his celebration together. And once again, that's just a blessing just to see a child, that was born, prematurely, and really, going through autism, really seeing him grow and flourish, and it's a blessing every day. It's just a blessing. Men, don't be comfortable with being an every other weekend father. If you're not in a relationship with that mother, don't be comfortable with that. Get your child as much as you possibly can, because I tell you, I never truly understood the severity of loss until I could not wake up with my son every single morning. So let that sink in right there. Please let that sink in. As minute as you might see, it might seem, it brings me joy every time my son is over here and he wakes up and I hear him, because I know that this is my son. This is somebody who looks up to me and that I can influence. So
I love that. And time goes by so fast.
yes, it does.
Moments that you end up missing.
Yes, it does. It does. A lot of moments that I missed, going through the divorce and even just working, always about working. Once again, all about that money, about that paper, and missing out on that quality time, that, those things, I remember I used to sit there, and sometimes I do still. I'll lay in the bed with him and I'll just watch him sleep. And it just brings me a lot of peace. And you don't know that, ladies. See, you don't know that. Us men, we do that too. We don't tell you that, but we do that too. But just being able to do that is just a blessing.
Yeah. And I love that you spoke about just mental health and really just, stepping up to the plate and, confronting your emotions and, just loving one another. It makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. It has to. It has to.
Mm-hmm. It has been so exciting to see your journey and to hear about your story and just how you and your son are really inspiring so many people.
Yes, I listen. I never would have thought, back in 2016 that I would do something like this, yet alone continue and want to forcefully push myself out there as, pretty much you could say, the poster child, and really speak out and really catch the attention of people that I've never would have thought I would have met in my whole life, and every single one of them, they say that it's just something about you, like you exude that positive force, that nature that just attracts me to you. And I have to give glory to God, because once again, I could tell you, I was a person that would use you in a minute. Back in my early days, I was that guy. I was that guy that really didn't care about anybody else but me and my own, who I kept close to me. And now I care about everybody. I love everybody. I want to make sure everybody succeeds. So it's all, all his glory, man. And I just can't thank him enough for opening my eyes and my heart. More importantly, my heart,
Yeah. And it's amazing that you had that awakening that a lot of people still don't have or have been struggling to. So to see it is really beautiful. And I'm a huge believer in God and divine intervention, and you were meant to be here for something.
Yeah. I discovered it now. I sat back and I listened. I opened up my heart, which opened up my ears to him, and the things I seen. I was just like, that there's no luck there. This is not luck. This is not by chance. Every interaction just like this is always by his intervening. This was supposed to happen. This is how it was supposed to go. It was for some reason. We may not understand it now. We may understand it in the future, or we may get a glimpse of the reason why now. And that's the thing. So I pretty much just go with the punches. If it's something that pops up, I'm like, okay, I'm for it. I don't sit there and be like, I don't want to do it, because there is a reason. And people need to understand that. Once they understand that, they'll be less stressed. They'll be less concerned about stuff.
I love that so much. I'm going to take that in and just really, not let the stress get to me, and really remember and remind myself there is a bigger picture, and to kind of go with the flow, go with the current.
There's a bigger picture than us here. We're only small molecules in this big anatomy of life. You have to understand, we cannot have all the answers to the questions. So one of the questions will be, well, why does bad things happen? Bad things happen because they always work for his good. They always work for good. You don't see the good because you wanted to go a particular way, but that bad situation might have got you not killed. It might have got you away from a very bad car accident that would have paralyzed you. So I would rather take this bad rather than sit there and suffer those other bads that could fatally harm me in the future.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Truth. Yes. Amen. So true. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for really being the father who had enough about not understanding my son on the spectrum and being willing to put his face and his heart out on the line so that others can love their sons or their daughters with autism effectively, not just sit there and say, oh, well, I'm the father, of course I love them, but really truly love their child and understand their child. And hopefully I can affect somebody else to take up my role and continue it on, because the demographic of the fathers are changing. They're getting younger. They're getting more inquisitive. They're getting their swag is a little bit more than what mine's is. It's just becoming a new generation. So what I'm doing here now, hopefully somebody will pick up the reins.
Oh, and you're such a huge inspiration. You're already shining light onto people and being a voice and opening up these conversations and allowing men to see that there's someone out there that's been through a hard time and who is also going through it, so they can know that they're not alone.
Exactly. Autism doesn't see any color, doesn't see any financial boundaries. It's not localized into one area. Autism is autism all across the world. I have friends now that I've never met before, even in Cambodia and Indonesia. I have people in Canada. I have people over the pond, as we say, over in the UK. I have so many friends now because I decided to sit there and open my heart and just speak out about it. And they connect with me and I connect with them and we support each other. That is the most invigorating thing that you can actually feel, that you are definitely not alone when it comes down to autism, and that someone hears you and they understand where you're coming from.
And I love so much connection all around the globe.
Yes, got to. It's worldwide.
Yes, I love it so much. It has been such a pleasure. I could talk to you all night.
Thank you. It was. Been looking forward to this interview. Definitely to chop it up with you. I see you doing your thing. I appreciate what you're doing. Continue to do that because you are being positive towards someone else. And once again, like I said, things like this are not by luck. They are put into play for a reason. You won't know this now, but you'll find out later.
I love it so much. I could talk to you all night. You've just dropped so many gems and so much beautiful stuff.
Thank you. I'm trying to. Between homework and this, I'm trying to. Just mind-boggling.
I love it. We will definitely have to reunite again.
Definitely.
Was there anything else that you wanted to let the viewers know?
Check out the show. Support the Ausome Show on Instagram. That's TheAusomeshow. That's on Instagram and also Facebook. Like I said, if you Google my name, Jamiel Owens, my articles will come up. That's JAMIELOWENS. And once again, if you want to drop me a DM or a message on either one of the social media platforms, please do so. So I can answer any of the questions you have. And also Spotify and Anchor. I have the Ausome Show podcast. So I have a couple of topics on there. Definitely check them out, subscribe. YouTube channel too, the Ausome Show 2020. Have a couple interviews on there as well. So definitely check me out, subscribe, like, do whatever you need to do or whatever like that. But support, and I'll support you back. Definitely.
Yeah, support is such a huge thing. And I will have all your information listed once the interview goes up on the YouTube so they can find you and follow you. And just keep illuminating the world. And thank you for illuminating the world with your presence.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, it has been such a pleasure.
It has. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. Bye. Have a great night. Thank you guys for tuning in. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you for watching Live with Jacqueline Valdez, Illuminating the World. one voice at a time. Thank you guys. Lots of love and light.